Happy New Year. It's great to see a full house here. This is the regular meeting of the Housing Committee for January 8th, 2004. I am Kathy Hunter, and I will be chairing tonight's meeting. And tonight we are joined by Louis Schaefer, Chris Dickerson, Elaine Feldman, Warren Marshall, Donovan Lofters, Jim Graham, and Mary Dean. So the first item on our agenda is executive session. So I'd like to make a motion to move into executive session to discuss strategies and negotiations regarding pending litigations, Open Communities Trust versus LLC versus Town Planning and Zoning Commission of the Town of Woodbridge, docket number HHD-CB22-6166209-S. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. At this point, I'd like to invite Attorney Gerard, Attorney Guzzo, and Attorney Bloom into the executive session. Now, I'll executive session, and the next item on our agenda is public comment. I'm just wondering if any.
Oh, we have to approve the minutes.
Oh, is it? Where's my agenda?
Do you want me to go outside?
Are there extra
Outside the
agendas?
building and ask if there's anybody here? Yeah, the board's on the.
Yeah.
All right, the next item on our agenda is approval of the December 4th minutes, 2024.
They look like something the cat dragged did because of the nature of the circumstances under which they were produced. So if you guys would like them not to be posted in this form, then there's some repetitions and there's some stuff in it. That's fine, but if you want me to clean them up before we actually post them online, we could defer approving them, I think.
It's, I mean, I think they read okay, but if people would rather, and again, we just send it out today. I usually try to send it out a couple of days ahead of time so people have time to review the minutes, and I apologize. We were, I was late getting out the minutes and getting out the agenda, but there was just a lot of back and forth on the agenda and a little delay in the minutes because Mary was...
A month of delay in the minutes because I was working on my report.
Also not feeling
And
great.
had to watch the whole thing all over again.
Yeah, and she had a little bit of COVID thrown in
A little
mix
bit of COVID.
as well.
Oh, very
It's been a great week.
So,
I'm okay with this.
if you'd like to, we could table approval of these minutes to.
Is there another copy of the minutes?
Oh, sorry, can I know?
Oh, thank you.
Did they change after you read them?
Yes, actually. Poor Kathy's trying to help me and I'm done.
Was there any changes you saw that needed to be on it besides?
And content-wise, I mean, I didn't read through the whole thing. Content-wise, doesn't probably matter. I always, the appropriate thing to do is to have the committee read it fairly soon after the meeting so that they can say if there is something that needs to be corrected. But in this case, because we didn't have that advantage. I noticed there's a phrase that's double in the same sentence, and as I told you, the spacing is all screwy from
I did try to fix the
Google
spacing.
Docs.
I did.
It's a matter of a moment. We just didn't have a moment.
Yeah,
I mean, we
it
just
was
didn't,
crazy.
because it was understandable.
We did our best college try.
Yeah, but it's kind of a mess. Anyway.
So,
But if you see anything that's missing,
all right, our folks, I think the minutes are presentable to approve. However, I'm going to leave it to the group. And if people are fine with the minutes as is, if someone wants to make a motion and second, that would be fine.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Oh, all right. In favor, yes.
All right, so that's passed. We do have public comment on the agenda. I just want to see if anybody's out there, maybe there's some spillover.
Chris, was that you seconded
Is there
or
a
was
water
it?
No,
fountain? Is there a water fountain out there?
There's
at the front, it's just the one that doesn't work,
By
is
the
the
front
sign.
door.
Dave Poker's passed away.
Oh, no.
As a friend of ours, Conrad, speaking, he got very sick, he's old man.
Okay, so there's nobody out there for public comments, so I'm gonna move on to the next item on our agenda, and that's the housing chair report. So I am going to make a quick report, and I think the first thing I should report is that I did an update to the Board of Selectmen a couple hours earlier, maybe 3 hours earlier at this point. And because they wanted an update on our housing plan, because we did do an update back in June to correct the issue that was identified by a resident who was concerned about misleading people because of the 10% requirement.
Oh, yeah.
That if they read that sentence in isolation of the previous section that comprehensively explains the, the 8-30G overview and how the 10% is related to a builder's remedy, they would misread the fact that the state has a 10% requirement, and that's not the case. Like I said, the state does not have a 10% requirement for affordable housing. That would be, it would be totally irresponsible for the state to say 10% requirement, since 40% of Connecticut's population is at 80% or below median income. So when they do figure out what that percentage is going to be, it will be much larger than 10%. And then I also, the amendment included some language from the Connecticut Zoning Enabling Act, just to enforce that each municipality's zoning regulations are required to affirmatively further fair housing, promote housing choice and economic diversity in housing, including housing for low, moderate income households, and address significant disparities in housing needs and access to educational, occupational, and other opportunities. So there were some comments that included that we did not vote. Somehow they made it personal, but we did not address all the concerns that were brought out in the Kathy Wick and Amy Morella 3-page public comment they did. But explain that we did address, their big issue was the 10% requirement, so we did address that. And the other issues had to do with a lot of the demographics that needed to be updated, the school enrollment and things of that sort. And we did say that once we are done with the POCD and they update all the demographics, that we would then use their information as addendum to affordable housing plan to address all the issues they may have had with the demographics, because there was some of the demographics talked about, the town aging, and Woodbridge has been getting an influx of, families, so the aging actually is, the median age is actually dropped a little bit by a couple, a little, I think by 0.5% or maybe a percentage at this point.
I bet that's transient.
Well,
I don't know how durable that is going to be, but we'll see.
yeah, but so so anyway, the idea is that we will, update the housing plan once we get the information with PLCD, and we'll work with our planner to try to make the housing plan more, more up to date in terms of the demographic information, school enrollment, and things of that sort. What else? And so I notified everyone. We did submit our recommended input into the POCD on 12/19, and Chris Sullivan did confirm that it was sent to SLR. And SLR. SLR is consultants that are working on the POCD, so the procedure is like all the committees and commissions, they're coming up with their long-term 10-year goals like we did. And then that goes to Chris Sullivan, and then Chris Sullivan works that through SLR, and they take what they, take, and, I'm not sure, how much of what our recommendations are gonna end up in the POCD, but those are recommendations, and they come back, and then, we could talk to them and see what that looks like. I don't know, they do have a meeting schedule, and so we can have to save the date, because they had talked about having all the committees and commissions meeting with the consultants, SLR, to have like a one-on-one meeting with them. So if folks could save January 29th for that. I'm not sure what time slot we would get. I would imagine we probably want something after 5.
Yeah.
So this would be a meeting commission by commission, not one-on-one, not one person. Be one commission
Yes.
would meet with that, then another
That
commission.
is my understanding, that it's a commission. So the way I understand it, like each commission's gonna get like 20 minutes or something. It's gonna be like, rapid dating.
Speed dating?
Speed dating, yes, I was gonna say speed dating. So we're gonna get a slot, and so we're gonna come in, and I hopefully I'll get more info as to how this plays out, but
What's the information flow?
that the committees are going to meet with the SLR consultants.
To give them information or to get information from them?
No, just to hear, I'm not 100% sure how the format's going to be. I'm gonna imagine that they're gonna talk about, our recommendations for the POCD, and maybe they'll talk about how they're gonna use that information.
The only reason I ask is because I'd be curious to hear what other commissions were doing, saying,
Yeah.
as opposed to.
Yeah, I initially thought it was gonna be like, and I think they were even thinking about this, having this big, wide meeting with all the committees and commissions. But I don't think they're doing that.
Okay.
But if it changes, I'll let you know. But that's how I understand it.
Will they send us a draft that they would like to use, so we can see it before we talk about it?
Oh, I don't know if they're gonna have a draft by 1/29, but I will,
1/29.
whatever they have, I will make sure that gets out. But I anticipate that there's not gonna be a draft of a POCD on January 29th. That's why they wanted everybody to get their information to them by the end of December in order to, you get the feedback as to what that's,
Which Elaine and I know didn't happen, at least that's the one committee. Because that was-
Right, and who finalizes it? I mean, who has the final say on what it actually looks like?
The final say is well, it's two parts. So planning and zoning has the say as to what it looks like. It does. It has to go to the board selectmen 65 days before it's due, and so they get to weigh in on that. Well, ultimately, it has to be adopted by planning and zoning.
Planning and zoning, okay.
So, any questions on that process? All right, just moving on. I think I reported last meeting that I am on the Technical Assistance Committee for the redevelopment of the Woodbridge Country Club. So we met in person. We were supposed to have a
I'm not putting it in the minutes.
Oh. But yeah, we'll see. But so there was a meeting, and everybody, all the respective committees were there represented, and they talked about their part in their interest in the Woodbridge Country Club. So if anybody is interested in that meeting, you could go on YouTube.
Are there minutes?
I didn't look, so I can't say there's not minutes. I imagine there should be minutes, but it's on, maybe if you look at I don't know if the Woodbridge Country Club has, I don't know if they set up a same page like the POCD did. I'd have to look. But I didn't see any minutes, but I didn't look for any minutes. So if there are minutes, that I'll look at those out. Let's see, another thing I just wanted to mention, that there's going to be a YIMBY convention in September. It's going to be held in New Haven, which I thought was interesting. It's
What is that?
YIMBY. YIMBY is, how like NIMBY?
I know that.
YIMBY is yes in my
I
back.
feel like, oh,
Oh.
Yeah.
I had never heard that.
Ever heard of YIMBY?
Really?
I wish I hadn't.
The US government actually passed a bill.
oh, it's
Have you ever heard the
oh,
term?
oh,
Yeah.
You have? Indeed, I have.
Yeah.
So your meeting is on the TAC meeting is on the website, on the town's website.
The minutes?
No, actual video of our meeting.
Yeah. I said the video.
I
Yeah.
just want the list.
Yeah, no, if you want to
It's
watch.
under the CCW master plan update.
Yeah.
People are poets.
It's autumn, I can't remember the dates. What is it? I haven't looked at it. 'cause
It's
so
kind of weird because it starts on a Sunday. I think it's like September 14th to 16th or something. But yeah, people are. We have time. I'll bring it up. But I thought it was pretty cool. And then I know there's another SCROG meeting talking about towns are going to be sharing notes on community conversations. That's going to be held next Tuesday. I know Elaine's going. Thank you very much, Elaine.
And I may be going,
That's good.
if I could. My
What,
wife will
Mika's
drive me.
going,
What?
isn't he? Mika's going.
Mika's going,
Mika
yes.
will be
going.
going.
First selectman
The
from
first
Guilford is
selection in
going.
Guild, yep.
Yeah.
And I told Ben I'm a maybe, but I don't know how to drive you this, fix it, drive myself.
Yeah. Well, it should
It's
be.
the 14th. 14th? I think it's 14th.
Yeah, Jen, I think it's Tuesday, right?
It's Tuesday, the 14th,
Pandemic.
whatever that is, Tuesday, I think.
So that would be good.
It's not just Connecticut.
Whoever can make it, that would be great. I will not be able to make it because I will be in Puerto Rico.
Yay. So I think I have it in my
So,
calendar.
and that's it. And that is all I have for my update.
January 14th,
Next thing on the
from
agenda,
1 to 2:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did put, to think about a work plan for 2025, because, I feel like I set these agendas every month, and I do want to remind folks, if there are items that you want on the agenda, please send them to me. Just usually what happens, it's like Monday, it's like, oh crap, I gotta get my agenda out, and so people, if there's certain, and that's why I want to talk about now, some items we might want to work on. as we go into 2025, and maybe we could start making a work plan. Because I feel like we're always responding to something, but I think we got through it this year, and I think we could start being more, proactive in terms of our work.
What do you have in mind?
Well, I'll tell you what I had in mind, because I'm always hearing the same complaint about our committee is that we don't even know what affordable housing is, and everybody's secretive, and they don't even tell us, they don't explain to us what affordable housing is. And I find that annoying, because we've had public sessions, we've had documentation posted on our website what it is. I have attended, between Woodbridge Like Me Day, between Earth Day. I always carry the handout that David Fink helped us with. What is affordable housing? A simple explanation of affordable housing that explains everything about affordable housing, and break it down. Who can afford in your town? So we've tried to distribute this information, but we still get blamed that we don't provide any information. Nobody knows what affordable housing is.
Why don't you have a townwide meeting in the center school gym or the Amity High School
Yeah,
auditorium?
we've had a couple.
No,
Yeah,
I
we've
mean,
had a couple.
to explain that. Have you
We've
had
had-
one?
we've
Have
had.
you had one there?
We've had 3 of them.
We did it at the JCC.
Yeah, we've had 3. We had 1 in-house meeting, and we had 2 virtual meetings that were open to the public.
How long ago was that?
We were working on it for Kennedy.
What's that?
It was when we were working on the plan.
So
Yeah.
you're talking about during COVID?
No, it was after
No,
COVID.
I think it was after.
So,
it was after
okay, because you said virtual meetings, and I think of COVID as
No,
well.
no, we had
Well,
a
we
lot.
did have, we did have
JCC.
virtual, during
It was
virtual
both, it was
meetings,
both,
but
it was
we had them
hybrid.
after
So-
COVID, yeah.
Why don't we have more?
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
If you want to get the word out, you need to have more
Can
meetings.
we, one post it or somewhere like on the website, but can we put like a link to that in the, thing that comes out so people
Well,
can say,
that's
hey,
what
why
I'm
don't I
thinking,
listen to
yeah,
that?
that's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
Can we do
because
that?
we did have a link for this. Now, Allison cleaned up our website, so I believe she was supposed to archive it, and I still don't see the archive. So what I wanna do is because this is, from I think 2022, so what I was planning on doing was taking this, updating it to 2025 data, and then, putting it on our website, putting it in as a link to the Woodbridge, news that goes out, that Mika goes out, making copies and putting it in the library and putting it in the senior center. And if anybody else has any other ideas how to get this out, maybe put it on Conserve Woodbridge Facebook, I don't know. But put it on maybe all the Woodbridge type of Facebook pages, and so people know this is what affordable housing is. Because I'm really tired, because if you listen to public hearing tonight, we got I got assassinated, because I was like in
You
charge.
look remarkably well for having been assassinated.
Yeah, actually, I
Handle
tell
these
people,
assassinations quite well.
I tell people, bring it on. The more you attack me, the stronger I get.
The
So,
mud monster.
you
What
know.
are they, I'm more curious, what are they attacking for?
Oh,
Which side were they attacking from?
Yeah, which specific things were being brought up tonight,
let's see.
as opposed to all the others?
Yeah, well, you should probably just.
I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, watch it. I
You
don't
don't have to
I
relive.
wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna turn this into
Yeah,
a
do
gripe
that.
session,
No,
but,
No, but that's, the point is that if this is still being brought up publicly, then we need to still be addressing it publicly. Your point is right. So
Right.
the question is, how do we best do that now? Of course, when we were writing the housing plan, you would assume that there would be some natural interest on the part of the public. And our responsibility, of course, was to try to inform the public before we gave them our conclusions, so that everybody was was well informed. So the situation is somewhat different now. We have a lot of information out there. Some of it's not being interpreted entirely correctly, or certain aspects of it may be of particular concern or lack of understanding. It is complicated. And well, you're right, we just need to keep trying to do that, and the question is just how.
Yeah.
If we had a public forum and said, the housing committee invites you, we'll bring cookies, and you can ask us any questions you want to have. I wouldn't really expect very many, if any, people to come. But we would do
Give
it.
it a try.
You know, we would do it, and then if the next time we hear a problem, we say, well, please come, and we will talk to you. And we can probably do more with our
You ever
our
wonder
website.
why companies like Coke and Pepsi continue to advertise? Everybody on the planet knows Coke and Pepsi, right? Why do they continue to advertise? Because people have short-term memories, and people aren't thinking about Coke and Pepsi all the time, even though they know about it. If we get the information out and you keep getting it out and keep getting it out, then it kind of gets more ingrained in people's minds. But if your last meeting was over 2 years ago, people have completely forgotten about it. There's
Coke
people out-
Pepsi has a marketing team that could do that. I mean, we're a volunteer. We're a volunteer.
Understand, my
It's a fair
point
point.
is,
Yeah.
in order to get people to know about it, you've got to keep getting the information out. You can't say, we had 3 meetings, we're done.
Yeah.
But they didn't get it, they didn't get it,
Chris,
it's on
we
there.
do not
I know,
do
we
that.
just can't do that.
We
We have
don't
to
do that.
continue to
Now
get the
we've been
information out.
doing flyers, handouts,
Yeah.
personal contact, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. See, what happens with affordable housing, it's complicated, and people get information from other sources as well. So they quite naturally generate other kinds of questions. Plus, the circumstances in Woodbridge changed, and the conversation has changed quite a bit in the last 2 years.
Absolutely.
As you've noticed, a lot more people are interested in learning more about it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
the
but we
importance
do,
is-
I mean, I've been participating, and I am there usually all day at community events, handing out information. So, you know, I think we do our best, and, you know, like Donovan and Elaine, you know, and Warren are there for, you know, Woodbridge Like Me Day, and we're there handing out information and trying to get, so, but I can't force people to come to our table.
You can't.
In fact, we had
What
such an
about-
excellent presentation at the JCC. I think we barely had 30 people there, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
and
the
that,
same thing.
and that was
Yeah.
2023, and
That was
I had,
23.
I had a really great presentation, brought in a real great
Oh,
expert,
it was excellent.
and we had, what, 25 people there?
Yep.
I had like, I figure, people are really interested in this, I set up for like 100 chairs. I think. So,
We had the
So
library,
what
too.
about,
yeah, at the library, at the community conversation, you know,
We had a couple things at the library.
yeah, so the idea that we are not trying to get information out, I think is a little
Temple manual.
in
too.
general.
so
Genuine.
can I suggest that we try to establish a Q&A someplace so that people can actually send us questions when they occur instead of having to wait for an event?
Yeah, I wonder if we could have a blog or something. See, that's why I wanted to have, I wanted to do something with the Woodbridge Town News, and have people like write in, you know,
Yeah,
ask
really.
us, but that
Just
doesn't work.
before it dropped dead.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't think anybody even looks at that anymore, which is unfortunate. I don't, you know, that's why I kind of want public comment, because I would hope people like really have a burning question that could come in and ask that. And they could say, hey, I don't understand this, I'm here because I don't understand this, and then we could like explain. So that was another step towards, you know, trying to help people understand. Again, we are a volunteer group. We can't work 24/7 on coming up with how to get people informed, but we could come up with, you know, I think we could just try to do more, and that's what I thought about. Let's at least get this out, because it seemed like, you know, we were accused of not explaining what affordable housing is, and everybody thinks it's a mystery, and you know, it's sneaky that we're not explaining what affordable housing is, when in fact we've been trying to explain what affordable housing is. So
It's hard to do that though, because it's technically complicated. 80% of AMA, 60% of AMA.
well,
Or
it's
AMI.
it's
Yeah, but it's
complicated.
AMI.
You know, it's you know, when you break it down, I think, you know, but again, people have to, you know, we
couple want to.
handed this sheet out and,
Then there's the capital A. Then there's the capital A affordable.
Oh, there's that,
Yeah.
oh, and the capital,
Yeah.
oh, and naturally affordable, you forgot.
But-
but if we're doing a work plan and we think that having an event to do a, you know, 411 on affordable housing, and you think, you know, people now may be interested in showing up, we could plan that, but, you know, we need all to work together on that, because, you know,
It's
sometimes.
too much for one person,
Yeah.
It becomes too much for one person,
of course.
and I do my best, but I do have
You
a
do a lot. You do-
business.
You do have a day job.
Yeah.
Kathy, can we make a poster for the library based on that sheet? I mean,
Yeah,
can
if
we?
someone wants to take it and work with, you know, maybe, was it Canva, whatever? And come up with something snazzy. And maybe we could, you know, I meant to ask, you know, because the kind of like conservation has like a budget, you know, and they're always talking about, well, we haven't spent the budget, so we gotta like use this money up to let's print out a bunch of trail maps, you know. And meanwhile, we're paying for everything, you know, those
I know.
posters and everything I'm making, you know, I'm paying for it, and so I'm looking. I think I want to ask for a budget item. This way we could like,
Well, you could probably get the town to do it.
Yeah, maybe
Just ask Allison.
maybe Allison
The town
Yeah.
to do
can
it.
facilitate.
Another director. Can I just mention that what they said tonight was somewhat chilling? To, you know, the notion that I could talk to my friends about affordable housing, or I could talk to another board in town, or I could have been, you know, the reading group or something like that. But, you know, we're not supposed to talk about it. You know, they said, don't talk, you're representing the housing
Yeah, I don't think we
committee,
should
and if
have-
you say the wrong thing, and if people quote you incorrectly and so forth, we could get the town into trouble. So this worries me, I don't know exactly
Oh,
what that means.
I don't think that, you know, I mean, if they want to see anything, they can watch the public hearing tonight, because I think my name was mentioned at least 5 times, so.
Were you there for
This
the-
would also be done not as individuals, it would be
Yeah.
done by the committee. and
You were there
that's-
for the whole
That's
thing?
our charge. We have
No, I stayed, because I was there for 5 o'clock, so I was like, this is a joke.
I thought well, anyway, we looked at it. So I got a call, like at 6 o'clock, from a friend of mine who had received the email and said, should I be going there, is this an emergency, you know, should I be giving public comment? So I gave her my opinion, and I gave her some background and all the rest of it, and I was listening to him speak, and I thought, oh my gosh, should I have done that? Should I have, you know, explained things
I think,
from my perspective?
I think the focus that the lawyers were getting on is that, you're talking about what went on in this room and blowing the privilege.
Okay.
That was the, you know.
That
under executive session.
definitely gets,
So,
yeah.
but you know, I mean.
What we
I
do
think
as a
that's supposed to
committee
say-
No, no,
I
but
mean, I
it's
would
is
not want-
protected anyway,
but I
that's our job.
Well, I'm on the housing committee, so I can't talk to you about housing, this
Yeah,
doesn't seem
individually.
right to
Yeah, we
me.
probably should, well, maybe we should.
Individually you should, but
No, I mean.
poster
it's-
that the committee that we put up, that's fine.
The most important
Yeah.
thing is that whatever happens in the executive session shouldn't be discussed.
Understood,
That's all. I mean,
understood.
that is.
But even if that other were true, I can see the point of it. You know, if I said something in my ignorance, and it was taken to represent the committee by somebody else, and they quoted it as the committee, but, I mean, it would not be a good situation. You would wish to avoid
But
that.
that's happening anyway, they take everything I say out of context and they're blowing
Or
up, so.
these, or these.
So I
If we
can't-
stick, if we have standard information, we can stick to it. You know, if we have Q and A,
Oh, you got it already.
that would be pretty safe.
Yeah. Well, maybe, you know, let's go for a informational session. And let's see if we could like finally get people there
This is what
to
I'm-
listen to us. And maybe they could, ask their questions. We could, I'll get the experts, I'll get the affordable housing experts there. And they, we could just answer every question people have. And I think that maybe that would be helpful. I mean, we've done that 4 times in the past.
Maybe have Vendy there.
You know, Ben's not necessary,
He's not a he told
not-
us last night, he's not a,
He's not a
actually a
housing
housing
specialist.
Yeah, I would have his
Neither was-
father.
Neither was his father until
David.
he
Yeah.
did business.
Yeah,
But, you
no,
know, Ben would be there to help us coordinate and deal with it. If somebody gets up and makes a speech for a half hour, he would help us deal with
help.
that.
So,
Well, I mean, can we tap the sensitivity that's surrounding the Fountain Avenue proposal to somehow get more people to come? Is
Well, I
that too
think-
delicate?
that's probably some of the stuff we shouldn't, if I understood the lawyers correctly, they actually didn't want us engaging with residents about housing issues, to Mary's point. You know, didn't they say, when Jim said no comment, they said, well, just, you know, say it in plain English. We've met with the lawyers and
I
they're
thought it was
being
in
advised.
context, you know, I thought it was related to,
Just that?
yeah.
No.
Yeah, and you have to be mindful about how you say things and what you know, even flip remarks should be avoided, even if, and, you know, even things in jest or satire, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
people will twist that.
Just cut that part out.
Yeah, but there's no reason you can't talk about, you know, people ask you a question about what's going
Yeah.
on.
Sort of so weird not to be able to answer, like after 4 years of
I know.
doing this and studying, you have
Stuffing
to
all that
say,
information, you're gonna.
can't talk to you about it.
No, I don't think
You
that's
think
what
it was-
yeah, I don't think he was
Okay.
talking, I think we do, I think we keep on, because you know, this committee is the town's best defense.
Yeah,
Because we are actively trying to promote affordable housing in Woodbridge. And everything we do is gonna help defense. So, it's great.
you know, the meeting was still going on when I went to get my water, they were still there.
Yeah, I'm sure, well, there was a
Are
lot
they
of
still
people.
in public?
Is that Uncle's angry voices or just
I
conversation?
think it's Allison decompressing.
Sound like Mrs. Wallowitz from The Big Bang.
Yeah.
so I'm just thinking about this. So, because it's hard to get people in person, is there a way to use technology to? We have what do we have? Do we have a Facebook page? No, right? I don't have.
Oh,
Facebook.
do like a webinar
People
and
have showed me comments on Facebook. I don't have Facebook. So look, is that a public comment forum? Is Facebook or no? Because people type stuff on there all the time.
like a housing committee Facebook page.
Everything.
Yeah, I
I don't
don't
think it was, I think you referred to the
That's not
Fountain
public.
Street thing that,
I mean,
I don't usually face Facebook, but that was pointed out to me. and I read that.
Oh, there was something on Facebook about
Oh,
it.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
We have we have a YouTube channel. Maybe we have you could do it's a video or something.
I mean, we could try, I mean, these are projects we could do,
That
again,
could
we are a
just-
volunteer
that could
group,
just run
you know, and if people
over
like
and
wanna
over and
dedicate the time for that, it's just that, you know, sometimes
I was just thinking we were somewhere someone just get information without you having to.
yeah. I mean, there's plenty, I'll tell you, there's some really good, and I think I probably brought this up before, but if you Google the Partnership for Strong Communities Housing Conference for 2024, there's a lot of wonderful sessions. And one of the great sessions they have is about affordable housing and conservation. And how land trusts and affordable housing folks like work together to come up with how there could be a happy medium. And how certainly there's land that should be that should be preserved. But there's also, land that could be used for affordable housing, and how to blend those two, they're not mutually exclusive, they could work in tandem together. And so there is an excellent video on that I was thinking about sending to conservation, but after, last meeting, I probably maybe will still try to send it to them, but it's
Are you referring to the
So-
session that I?
So even if someone say, hey, you're not telling me, you could simply say, go look at our website. Look at
Yeah,
our-
well, maybe that's a good
There's a
idea.
link to our
I think I'm
YouTube
gonna put,
channel.
I'll put that,
There's a link to
the YouTube on on the housing committee and maybe try to drive them like, hey, we have a great link to how, you know, land trusts and affordable housing could work together in concert. And
That's a really good idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna do
And the one
that.
thing that may have been Mary that mentioned it.
I'm glad you asked, you know, there's a
We
wonderful
have an
thing.
FAQ there which talks about the accessible dwelling units.
And if you do it
I'm not sure if
now,
anyone's dropped it, but maybe put something in there, they could ask questions, general questions.
Yeah.
Well, that may be dangerous when somebody says, what are we gonna do, and then we haven't, you know.
Well, I got blasted tonight for not answering every question by Amy Marilla and Kathy Wick, and I'm like, you know, their big concern was the 10% requirement, which we addressed, and then the other concerns was the demographics and information, which will be addressed once the POCD is updated. You know, I was not aware that I had to write out a letter addressing them
Yep.
and going through everything, because, you know, again, that takes like time, and you know, I don't have, I think this committee should be working on how to advance affordable housing, and when people start like giving letters that you have to address to,
Was someone suggesting that we're supposed to have a point-by-point refutation?
yes, they said that I was
Who
supposed,
Who?
Amy Marella.
No, I know who wrote the letter. Was she, I wrote a letter, so you have to get back to me and refute
Yeah, she
everything I said?
complained about me tonight that I never addressed, they never addressed all the points that they, yeah.
Oh.
And it's like, I'm a volunteer, we're volunteers, you know, and I think we listen to public comment and we act on public comment, and we did that to the
Yeah,
best
we
of.
told them, I think what we told them specifically was, we heard your comments, thank you. You know,
Yeah.
and we may have answered some specifically, but it was a comment, it wasn't supposed to be a debate.
Right, so I was not aware that you're supposed to address.
If that happened to you, what would you do? You would go back to the person and say, thanks for addressing these issues, what about the rest of them? You wouldn't just sit on and wait for a chance to publicly
Humiliating,
remark
yeah.
about it. You would go back and get what you wanted. I don't understand this whole approach.
Performative.
I guess
Yeah.
that's all
Yeah.
it
Was
is.
it's-
conservation there too?
Yeah, I
Terry?
wouldn't take it too seriously.
Oh, yeah. Everybody was there tonight, yeah. It was crowded, I mean, that's
I saw
probably,
that when I walked in.
yeah.
That's why I couldn't find a parking spot.
Yes.
yeah.
So, just playing devil's advocate, was it complicated just addressing the issues, or was just too much, or was it?
Well, we did address, I didn't know
Okay.
that I needed to
Tell them.
write them a letter and saying, we addressed your issues, this is how we addressed the issues, we're gonna be doing A, B, C regarding this, we're gonna do, you know, I didn't outline a response to them.
And you shouldn't have been expected to do that.
I didn't think
Yeah.
you know, because again, you know, this
We didn't
takes
expect anybody else
time and
to have
effort to
comments.
do
We
that.
heard their comments, the whole committee heard the comments, and we reacted, we may have made a couple things that we changed.
Right, well, we addressed it as
And
best.
then the rest of them, we decided not to.
I'm actually gonna look in the minutes to see if the discussions of those other points as well is represented in the minutes. Because if it is, I'm going to be quite cross with them, even more cross. I mean, really, that's ridiculous. If it's in the minutes, if
I
it
think
says
the
the
letter, I
minutes, we're
think, I
gonna do
believe the
this,
letter,
we're not gonna do that.
was included in the minutes, or was
Well,
completely
but
accepted.
yeah,
Now
we're
I
talking
have a
about
response.
the response.
oh,
And
this was before.
part of it was that,
Oh.
you know, they came up with figures that, we don't know whether they were, you know, would you want us to do an
Right.
investigation? And if
Yeah,
so, that's gonna
yeah.
take time.
And they were irrelevant anyway to the main
Right.
point that we were trying to make. The demographics of this way or this way didn't make a difference to the plan.
Right, and that's why I said tonight, I said the number one statistic you really have to focus on. And it's immaterial whether or not the school enrollment increased or decreased, or whether or not the age of the population is now, 43.2 and not 48.9. Whether or not the wage of a community health worker in Woodbridge is 60,000, not 40,000. The number one statistic that you really got to focus on is that we have 1% affordable housing in town. And it's the same number that it was 10 years ago when the POCT that we have 1% housing. So that is the number we need to focus on. And this affordable housing plan is about creating strategies to increase affordable housing. And anything else on these to suggest that, because that number's wrong, that throws the whole affordable housing plan, makes it completely invalid. Because we said the school enrollment was decreasing and it's increasing. It's just trying to me, it's just creating roadblocks to try to get you distracted and try to delay the work that we're trying to do. I am not going to be delayed with the work that we're trying to do because we have a lot of work. We have a heavy lift. So I'm going to do the best we can. If they want to update, and I'm just doing an addendum, I am not going to go in and spend hours to figure out how to update the data internally, because first of all, I'm not a professional planner, and third of all, if I do that and I'm wrong, I'm going to be called out again. So if you're in like you're never, all they're doing is trying to figure out what could we get them on? And, I'm just forging ahead and doing the work that we have to do.
Well, that's certainly the way it feels.
Yeah.
I mean, they may have a different perspective themselves about what they're trying to do.
Yeah, no, I know.
But
That's what they're trying to do.
But it's,
They struck me
It's
as
not-
being obstructionist. from
it's
minute
not
one.
relevant.
What
That's
I'm,
that,
what I'm most concerned about is that they were nasty to you personally.
Oh, yeah.
And
I got texts, people are texting me saying, oh my God.
Why were you even speaking at the meetings? It's the Board of Selectmen meeting.
They wanted me to do an update.
Oh, the Board of Selectmen asked you. Okay,
Mika asked me,
that's another story.
because I did an update, we proposed an amendment to the affordable housing plan back in June, and I guess, I got there was rumbling like we didn't act on it. I said, hey, I sent you a resolution for consideration. If you didn't act on it,
That's not your fault.
that's not my fault, I mean, what am I supposed to do? And they acknowledged the fact that they, dropped the ball, and so they wanted me in there to revisit, and so that's
Was that the 10% issue
the
predominantly?
10% issue and the demographics, and how we're gonna handle the demographics,
Yikes.
yeah.
I wish we'd known you were up there. I would have come earlier.
No, it's okay. There wasn't any seats available anyway.
My prior argument, I would have taken care of that.
Yeah.
Lou, we should have come I knew, so my bad. We should have gone 2 hours earlier. I did
Yeah. So the other task I did sign a committee up for, because I haven't actually looked at the affordable housing plan for a long time, and they do want to do an amendment at some point. I think what they want to do is give input.
Who's they?
The Board of Selectmen, they want it because they consider it their plan. That was another issue they brought up, and I kind of snapped at David Vogel, because the idea that we didn't give enough time notice before, the town submitted the plan, that there was no notice, that we submitted a 92-page affordable housing plan without anybody seeing what was in there, and that they only had like 5 days to look at it or something. And I explained, I said, hey, whenever we got done with a piece of that plan, we put it out there, and Chris did this, Chris Sullivan did this, put it out there for public consumption. A lot of those 92 pages or 90, whatever pages it was,
6, I think.
were the surveys we did. So we did a Scrog survey, we did a Woodbridge-based survey, we did the analysis, we put the public comments out there. So that took up a lot, because we wanted to be transparent. So we get, so we try to be transparent, and then we get blasted that the report was too long.
Which is why we gave an executive summary that went for like 4 pages.
Right, so we gave an executive summary, we had, we had all this information, we had the housing goals, we had the housing strategies, we had everything, we had the conditions, the current conditions, the site location, we had everything up there on the website for people to look at, and people did give us, and the funny thing is, it's like, the 2 people that said there wasn't enough time were the very people that gave like pages and pages of comments, right, that we had to address. Actually, I gave that to RKG to address. So to say that they had no notice of this report, I said, we gave months of notice, and then the final report was just a compilation of all those sections we put together, and we called it the affordable housing plan that was adopted on a certain day.
So the Board of Selectmen wants the affordable housing plan to be revised?
They're looking at areas where it could be updated,
And that's
so.
what they've tasked us with doing that?
I said that we would look at the plan, and we would all,
Okay.
just kind of read the plan, because I did not read the plan I haven't read the plan for a long time, and there might be some things that, we might, maybe some strategies where we decided we're not gonna do, or maybe, I just suggested that if there's something that really pops out, it doesn't make sense, anymore, because it's been
For 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Why did they say they wanted us to look at it?
I said that we would
Oh,
look
you
at
said
it.
you
I suggested,
Oh, so you
I was
suggested we should look at
You
it?
said that
I said that I would task the committee to just kind of
Okay.
Look at it
re-review
again.
the plan to make sure it's still, it's still relevant. And I'm sure most of it's gonna be relevant, absent of, tweaking the demographics, but if there's something there that we realize,
Are they gonna just throw stones, or are they gonna come back and tell us what they'd like revised or updated?
well,
they have.
yeah, they have, but I guess there's going to be,
One member has, but
Wait a minute. You mean we're inviting everybody to come and start throwing brickbats at us?
yeah, I think that's what they were
Well,
talking
then
about.
how is that gonna be a useful occupation for anybody? Regardless of what their opinion is, that's
The housing plan
not.
isn't necessarily a plan. It's a series of recommendations
recommendations.
and.
It's not a plan, you're right, it's just kind of a guideline, so,
Right.
all I'm asking is for
Recommend,
everybody to look at the plan, and we might look at the plan and say, this is still great. Just barring the fact that, that there's gonna be demographics that need to be updated. Some of the demographics, maybe the town is starting to get a little younger, but if there's something there that jumps up that's no longer, you don't think is relevant or it's wrong, they brought up something that was in there that I thought we corrected. It had to do with the houses that got demoed or something. It was like a large number of houses got demoed, which I thought somebody pointed out, and I thought that was corrected, but maybe it was still in the plan.
This is the same housing plan that had our preface to it?
Yeah,
whatever this
yeah.
week?
Yeah.
Did anybody have anything to say about what was in the preface?
It
Because
was so
frankly,
good.
because frankly, that was the most important part of the thing.
Yeah, well, that's what I put in the
Well, you
POCD.
can't-
I lifted the preface and I put it in our, these are the areas that we highlighted.
when you say they, are you referring to Kathy or?
No, I'm talking about
The selectmen.
the selectmen, yeah.
And there were
Okay,
multiple
'cause-
people who mentioned that? Were there multiple selectmen who mentioned that, or?
No, it was just, it was Dave Ogle that mentioned it. And he mentioned it once before and I told him the same thing.
Didn't he used to come in here every now and then?
Yeah, he did.
I remember him sitting like right there where Donovan was.
Yeah,
He came to our
Yeah,
group,
he
right?
Did a couple meetings.
Yeah.
He was also part of the
Um,
group that Kathy
Kathy Wick,
Not
yeah,
Kathy, no, not Kathy, but I was gonna say, that Elaine and I, the meetings we do with Ben, he was coming to those for a while, so.
oh, yeah, I thought you were gonna say he was part of the Political Action Committee United for Woodbridge that Kathy Wick formed for the referendum.
I don't remember, Lou, honestly. Who
There's
was
some
that?
options.
Didn't come to one.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
not,
don't remember.
okay.
Yeah, so,
Maybe it was here that I saw him a
Well,
couple times at other
I'm
meetings.
just mystified why, I mean, it has to be rewritten in how many years anyway?
it has to be written in 2027.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I missed the joy of writing.
Okay, all I'm asking is for you guys to
Yeah,
Many, many miles
just give it
from-
a
I'm kinda
a
lost on
review,
Okay.
yeah,
a lot of this
and,
stuff.
maybe we can talk about it.
I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't something in there that, because remember at the end when we were pulling all that stuff out, who was the consultant for SCROG? They put all kinds of things
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Okay, we did pull out a lot of
Yeah, we
stuff,
pulled so much stuff
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
because I thought we pulled out the thing about the demolition. And if that's still in there, then we should pull it out, because they said something like, I forgot how many houses were demolished or something, there was really no record of it.
Well, we worked really hard to get a lot of that stuff out of there, and I don't know how it got in there. We didn't put it in.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't something still hiding, but not because we did
You
it.
did a great job on that, Mary, and you did, I remember your and, you know, the thing wasn't well written, I mean, that was part of it, I mean, it was like a hodgepodge, that different people wrote different sections, and it wasn't really flowing right.
yeah, I mean, it
Not that
was,
there was anything wrong with those facts, but it just didn't flow right to read.
Well, they were working fast at the last minute, and they were putting things together for lots of different
Yes.
communities, so,
yeah,
which is
Yeah.
no excuse.
yeah. But I think it was important for us to be compliant with the state law and get it on time.
Yes, absolutely.
So anyway, so I said, you know, I agreed we'd work together to make sure that that's a plan that everybody's gonna be happy with, though we know how consensus goes. So if we could
Okay.
just, for
So
next,
do you want us to send notes back before the next meeting, or just wait until the next meeting
I would just
to
wait till
share?
next meeting, I can't imagine there's
Better
gonna be
not
some.
create more documents.
Yeah, no, we'll just
Do it-
discuss.
Yeah, right.
It's easy to work in person.
And then I'll say
anyway.
housing,
Yeah, no, we'll.
an apartment.
We'll put that on the next
Well, that
agenda.
will still be public.
So
Got
we'll, in the next month, review the affordable housing plan and look at potential revisions, and that'll be on the agenda for the next
Yes,
week.
right,
Okay,
yes.
got it.
And then, you know, so I'm just creating a list for our work plan for 2025. So I think we're in agreement that we'll have a public information session that we could, maybe we could do it at the JCC again, you know. I hate using the JCC when it,
I think the library's the best place.
Well, why
library.
wait using JCC?
I love the JCC, but I get embarrassed because I think there's gonna be like 100 people showing up and then 20 people show up.
Yeah,
I
I think
can
you have a much
speak
better.
to you.
Yeah.
I can speak to you, Gail Schlossberg, who heads the Federation, or Scott Cohen, who's.
Oh yeah, no, I saw Scott yesterday. I talked to him. No, he's great.
great.
They are
He's
so
very
great.
cooperative.
But you know, I feel bad because I'm waiting for this great community turnout because I think everybody is like so interested, and they don't show up.
We like to think our audiences become more selective.
I guess
Well,
we can't
I
really
think there's a lot to
blame,
be
you know,
said for
I don't
the
know. People have-
library. Centrally
They
located,
were
it's a cozy
kids,
room,
whatever,
people are
kids.
used to going there,
Yeah.
you know.
Which room?
I agree.
Upstairs?
The room at the
Oh, the
end.
meeting room,
The
okay.
meeting room.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And you can put posters up and then people
Yeah.
will see the posters and,
No, that-
yeah,
that's
it's a
true.
good,
Absolutely right.
That's exactly.
It's a good
so we
arrangement.
get the-
Okay. All right. So we're gonna do a 411 on housing.
411, what is that?
program.
Information.
It's like give
Information.
Information, the number, remember New York, you know, New Channel 5, never mind.
I still meet people
Okay.
down at-
Any other thoughts of you know any other projects we want to work on?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we can have a developer roundtable or, you know,
I think a Q&A at the library, I think a poster at the library, I don't know when, I don't know how exactly, but
Well, they echo.
All right, so we're gonna work on updating, you know, I'll do I'll try to update the information, and then maybe somebody could take this and I wonder if Allison would do it. She did a really great job on the ADUs.
Yeah.
I wonder if she could do something
yeah, let's
cool.
ask her first.
Unless
If I take it on, I'm only gonna have to call you for technical advice, because I don't really know how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, she probably.
Should Elaine and I update on last night's meeting from?
Yes,
or
yes, so
we-
let's,
Please be brief.
With that much
You know,
time.
I could have invited
Community
you
conversation.
there.
You know who would watch?
4 minutes or less, Lou.
I
I'll go
go.
4 minutes.
what time
less.
is it?
We-
Oh, good.
You know, we're actually getting to the next stage with the committee. We're gonna start one-on-ones with people, and we did training yesterday on how to do one-on-ones. And there were a number of people on the list we trained. This gentleman here is on the list.
Oh, yeah, you're on the list. I
You're on the
almost,
list.
I almost picked you.
I was gonna pick you.
What is
Pretty
this
fun to
list?
So
do.
this is,
This is a list, it's
this is
not
called
exactly,
power mapping.
Power mapping.
And, you know, at the beginning, Ben knows, this is full disclosure, I mean, Ben is so great and so likable, but I thought this was an exercise in futility. But I'm beginning to see that there is merit to community organizing and connecting people and having one-on-one conversations to really understand where people are coming from. And so this was last meeting. Ben calls Lou and Karen's house now the clubhouse, because he's had 3 meetings in a row there,
Good.
which is very nice. But this was just brainstorming about
and don't go
different
by, let me
people.
just point, don't go by, I was not at the meeting
Yeah.
where they made this list.
Yeah.
There's a lot of names that are wrong or missing, but the substance of it is correct. It's
Oh, it's
what's
okay.
behind it.
Yeah, it's just
Sorry.
talking to people.
Yeah,
And it's to talk to people in various different roles, it's, you know, the first selectman, a variety of different organizations there. Chris is there as a local businessman, and when we do, you'll know what we're doing, we're not supposed to tell, but I always like to be very transparent. Ben advises, just say one-on-one, I'd like to get to know you better, and then you talk 30% of the time and they talk 70% of the time. And, you know, I don't feel comfortable not telling people what I'm doing, and it looks rather strange. But the concept will still be the same. We talk for a half hour to an hour. And we did training on it last night. And it was good, and it's a way. And the one thing that a lot of people at this committee got wrong, and we had 2 people drop off one person drop off the committee yesterday, who was on the conservation committee. She was part of this, but she doesn't want to participate anymore, and that's her prerogative. But the idea is to talk to people, and it's not just housing, it's social services for the town.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Food
education, it's
insecurity.
playgrounds, yeah.
It's all interrelated.
Right.
It's all
And housing
related.
is part of it, but
Yeah,
it's not the
well,
only
housing's
thing.
foundational.
And then to get people involved, but Ben is great, as I told Elaine tonight. I would watch Ben read from the telephone book. I find him fascinating. I find him very interesting to listen to and talk to. And he gave us training on how to do it, and none of us will do it as well as he does, but we know what we're doing now.
Good, good.
yeah.
I probably
So
should be trained.
I think Lou and I
Could do
agree that we
something
feel
wrong.
much more optimistic about the potential for this to make some impact
Yeah,
eventually. And Ben's dad, David, is leading a discussion tomorrow.
oh, that's the meeting.
That's the meeting, yeah.
No, not the meeting, the 14th.
No,
is
the
meeting.
14th is something different,
Yeah,
Kathy
yeah,
talked
Ben.
about it. Tomorrow, this is about, I'll just read the first part, I promise I'll do it fast, Jim, I promise.
That's all right.
In light of the
Add it
US
to the
Supreme
table.
Court's
I'll wake you up.
grants past decision about municipal powers to disperse encampments of people
Oh, yeah,
who
it's
were
terrible.
experiencing homelessness, SCROG thought it wise to have a discussion, including experts from agencies serving those who become homeless, about how municipalities can create policies and programs to deal with homelessness. So that's the topic of the SCROG Housing Working Group session from 1 to 2:30. Oh no, that's an old one? What? Isn't
Yeah, I
it
didn't know.
tomorrow?
I have next
pulled up-
Tuesday on my calendar.
It can't be Thursday if it's crop, can it?
I'm sorry. This is what I sent to you.
Sorry, I missed it.
This is, I'm sorry, I'm reading from an old one. I have it on my calendar for tomorrow. Nobody else does?
No,
No.
no.
The other thing
Okay,
that came up
incorrect
at the meeting,
information.
which is relevant to us, is remember that poster that we had on calls coming in about Woodbridge?
Yeah,
About
yeah.
housing, and
Yeah.
that was wrong information.
Yeah.
They're still trying to update it, and Jen
Yes.
said that they're having trouble getting some of the information. They were trying to get it from Goodwill,
No, that was United Way.
United Way, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, and they still don't have it in this, but it's still, you know, they're still focused on it. They don't have anything they feel comfortable with yet.
Yeah, yeah, no, I feel it'll be good once we get, you know, good data to show. And I never heard back from, well, I didn't follow up with Kathy Austin, but we had talked to Kathy Austin, and just to, you know, it would be good for us to know what's happening locally, you know, for this local data, and because, you know, Human Services has a social worker. And to be able to see, you know, who's, you know, who, not who's coming in, the aggregate data, but they have a you know, case management software, they could pull aggregate data in terms of, you know, who's coming in, what's the demographics of people coming in, what are their needs, is the housing needs, the food needs, the mental health needs, is the domestic violence need, you know, they would be able, you know, because Kathy Austin said that there was a case management system that she is using, that she's inputting the information in, so I probably, you know.
She was at my house last night.
Yeah, well, do you know Kat? I mean,
Yeah, we, in fact, she and I did our practice together.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Can you like call her and see
Oh,
whether
sure.
or not the case management,
Yeah,
you know,
She
'cause I-
gave us, it was she that gave us her report for the POCD. Somebody handed one out yesterday, and I thought it was from Kathy.
I might have been Human Services.
Maybe,
Human Services wasn't
Maybe.
there, so,
no, well, Kathy.
call Kathy.
Is she the chairperson of Human
Yes.
Services now?
Yeah.
Yes, and they were late, as she said.
Oh, okay.
They just, I got the feeling that this was just handed in. You got a copy of that, right?
Yes, yes.
I didn't bring mine
It's
with
been
me.
a busy couple of months.
Yeah, it's been busy.
It's been a crazy book.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So-
it.
This one,
Yep,
yeah,
that looks pretty.
very,
Cool, cool.
yeah,
Double-sided print.
Okay,
that's
so-
the best.
I can give her a call.
Well, that's nice. They did that for the POCD?
Yeah. Community profile. Should-
Oh, that's a community profile, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's
They have
good.
a lot of
Analysis
information.
meant to
It's
serve as a
double-sided
snapshot of
printed.
Woodbridge today. It uses the most recent and publicly available data from the following sources.
Well, maybe that's something they put together. I mean, they have staff, so they're
Yeah.
able to put some stuff together.
That's
Yeah,
from the POCD, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So it's
I
the
might
individual,
have
it is
two of
still
those
trying
at
to
home.
get updated
Mr.
information.
Larry might have taken one.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
demographics, yeah, too, population.
I think it's the New Haven United Way. Okay. Well, I think that's good.
Motion to adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Yay, okay. Thanks, everybody. I gotta make sure.